Welcome to my NBA trade deadline special. First ever, best ever. Here we go. So what did I consider the move of the day on the final day of trade deadline? The Oklahoma City Thunder added this guy out of nowhere named, what's the guy's name? Chet Holmgren. He's coming back for tomorrow night's game in Oklahoma City against Toronto. Chet Holmgren is back. The Oklahoma City Thunder, my Oklahoma City Thunder, are going to win the Western Conference and make it to the NBA Finals. SGA MVP, he had 50. Here we go. Chet Holmgren is back and will change the way they play defense, and they're already, I think, the best defensive team in basketball. Way to go, Thunder. Now, who will play the Thunder in the West Finals? Before the year started, I had the Lakers versus the Thunder. I amend that because of the moves just made, because my biggest step back takeaway of the whole NBA trade deadline was the Lakers just got a little worse, and the Dallas Mavericks just got considerably better. I've got Mavericks now playing Thunder in Western Conference Finals to get to. I picked Boston before the year. I'll stick with it. More and more that I watch the Thunder, I give them more and more of a chance to win it all. I also did like the move of DeAndre Hunter going to Cleveland today. That's exactly what they were missing. That's their one hole. So I'm going to have to give them a little better shot of dethroning the Celtics overall and obviously in the East, because DeAndre Hunter is just what the doctor ordered. He is a big-time talent, 3-and-D wing who plays big in big games. I don't know what Atlanta's doing. They just sort of, it feels like give up. They sent Bogey to the Clippers. What? Really? And DeAndre Hunter goes to Cleveland, so they got the two guards who are two of the best guards in the league, and they got the two centers side by side, two of the best in the league, and now they've got their 3-and-D wing. Whew! Look out for Cleveland, Boston. I tweeted this earlier today. Boston should be very concerned. I'll amend that tweet to Boston should be flat out afraid of what Cleveland is now. But back to the Western Conference. Back to the Lakers that I had in the finals. Obviously, they made the trade of the century for Luka, and I immediately proclaimed it a long-term beautiful move for post-LeBron. Short-term bad move for LeBron. I feel sorry for LeBron because he's now stuck with Luka. He admires Luka's game. It's his game. Those guys look in the mirror now and see their worst nightmare because he is he. You've got either two LeBrons or two Lukas, however you want to look at it. Luka led the league last year in usage rate. He has the ball in his hands more than anybody. He's top 5 this year. LeBron is top 10 this year. LeBron is, or was, the point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now I don't know what he is. I thought he was the orchestrator and the initiator. Luka needs the ball in his hands. Last time I checked, there's only one basketball, and there are two superstars, Luka Doncic. They're sort of the same guy. Now in Hollywood. Be fun to watch. Can't wait. Edge of seat. Luka's not quite ready to come back from his calf pull. By the way, I was watching him in his Laker press conference. He looks really heavy. I won't go all the way to fat, but he looks chunky. He looks thick. He looks double-chinned. He looks like he's carrying a little tire around the waist. Obviously, he's no workout warrior, and if you knock him out since Christmas now, what is up to about 20 games that he's missed? He's not going to stay in shape. He plays his way back into shape. So good luck, Lakers, letting him ease his way back into shape. This is going to take a while. It's why this year is forfeited to me for the Lakers. No more Western Conference Finals. And the point is, the bottom line is, you have Luka Doncic at the two guards. You have poor Austin Reeves, who admitted the other day he was just shell-shocked over this. It shook him up, not just because he lost two guys that he'd come to know very well, Max Christie and Anthony Davis. But I think the shock is, wait, there's another the highest volume ball handler. He and LeBron could vibe off each other. They were a great fit and a great mix with AD as their pick and roll piece. Now what? Poor Austin Reeves, he's a third wheel at best. And yeah, I like the rest of the Lakers roster. I like Dorian Finney-Smith. I do. That was a nice move. And I'm a big fan of Rob Pelinka. I do. I know him, and I think he did the best he could do under the circumstances. But again, Jeannie Buss is saying we could get Luka as box office for the next 5, 10, who knows, 12 years. Do it. I don't blame you a bit. Can they get Jared Vanderbilt back healthy? I don't know. I just don't trust it anymore. Can they keep Gabe Vincent healthy? I don't know. Just don't trust it. I like Jackson Hayes. I like Shake, but Jackson Hayes, you know, maybe he winds up being the starting center. He's been the starting center and played very well. He's a 7-footer. But that brings me to the obvious swap here for the Los Angeles Lakers was they just replaced Anthony freaking Davis, to me, the best two-way player in basketball on any given night, the best overall player in all of basketball. They replaced him with somebody named Mark Williams. There have been moments over the last 24 hours when I say, Mark Williams? Who's Mark Williams? Like, I can't even remember his name. It's an ordinary name for what has been all too often an ordinary player. So I watched Mark Williams quite a bit at Duke. Never caught my eye, not one time. Lumbering 7-footer. Some people say he's more like 7'2", very long, not Wemby long, but long. Is that all he's got, is long? Just never caught my eye. But he went 15th overall to Charlotte. Okay. And I don't watch Charlotte a whole lot, but I watch LaMelo occasionally, Brandon Miller occasionally. Never caught my eye. Never had, obviously, any impact on the scoreboard. But in PER, player efficiency rating, sort of the QBR of NBA, Mark Williams is always up there with too few games, to me, to be qualified for PER. He's only played 23 so far this year because he's always hurt. I'll get to that in one moment. But Mark Williams is high in PER because he does a lot of good things as a role lob catcher and dunker. Okay. I don't think he's been much of a rim protector. And he's, yet again, if you watch them play, he doesn't catch your eye. You never say, oh, what a play that was. Or that was dominating. That was intimidating. That was captivating by the 7'2" guy. Mark Williams, ordinary name, ordinary game. High PER. But here's the question that I ask Lakerland. Why did they part ways with him? This is third year. Well, it's probably because in year 3, he's managed to play in Charlotte only 39% of his games. That's not very good. Anthony Davis, over his career with the Lakers, obviously they won it all in the bubble in 2020, but going back to 2019, has managed to play 72% of his games, even though he's always hurt. Played most of the games last year, was doing pretty well this year. I know he's had a little ab pull here lately, but 72% of the games, not bad, versus 39% of the games played by somebody named Mark Williams, and he's the new AD? Seriously, Lakers? So Mark Williams has had one ankle issue after another. He's had a thumb injury that he went through for a while, but mainly he's had back trouble. 7'2" with back trouble is recipe for disaster. I'm sorry, I don't trust it because Charlotte ultimately didn't trust it. Charlotte knew that they had the dominoes prepared to fall and replace Mark Williams with Nurkic. They just got Nurkic out of Phoenix, where he was disgruntled, falling out of favor, falling out of the lineup, making waves. I've always liked Youssef. He knows how to play. Skilled, cagey, wily, big, stout, can be physical. They said, wait, we can get Nurkic and replace Mark Williams with Nurkic? They said, good, we'll do it. And we can still get back. Wait, we can get Dalton Knecht. I'm on record before the season started. I said, when I picked the Lakers to get to the West Finals, I said, I am loving what I am seeing from Dalton Knecht. I think the Lakers stole him later in the first round. It felt like a home run steal, because in the preseason, he was just lighting it up, could go crazy hot from three, and it was clear in the summer league that he was as fearless as it gets. Gimme ball, see rim, attack rim. And it wasn't just jacking up threes. He will flat out, relentlessly attack the rim and slam it on you. I loved what I was seeing coming into the season. I loved what I saw from him in the first month, because he was not afraid of anybody, any moment, any fourth quarter. They were closing with Dalton Knecht. And he would have some crazy hot games from three. And then of late, he cooled off and he fell back to 36% from three. And I'm sure Rob Pelinka finally said, I don't know for sure, but if we have a glaring need, we just need big. We need another big to go along with a not so physical. It plays hard. Jackson Hayes plays hard. And he's very athletic and long for 7 feet, agile. He's just not physical. And they thought Mark Williams brought a little more stature to the position, a little more girth and breadth. I'm not going to go physicality with Mark Williams, because I don't see that, sense that. I don't think he's a dominant rim protector. I don't ever get that. I don't think he scares anybody in the lane. But he can roll and lob catch and dunk it. That's what Luka needs. He thrives off that. So I'm sure Luka will try to vibe with him and get a little connection like he had with Lively, Gafford back in Dallas. But Mark Williams is always hurt, and I don't trust his back. And I think they've plunged on a guy, even though you can say, well, we stole him, but you gave up a Dalton Knecht, who I thought could evolve into a closer for you. He's just gonna go hot and cold from three, and I'm sure that's what they finally concluded. Okay, we really like him, but we don't love him. We don't think he can turn into a star. It's what I always call, what people have told me for years, many years. I've covered the NBA back to the 70s here in LA, the Lakers. He's called a near star. I think he's going to be a near star. I don't think he'll ever make an all-star team. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong about that for Dalton Knecht's sake, because I love what he's made out of. I love his grit and his backbone and his mental and physical toughness. And he's more physical than I thought he could be. Maybe it's sort of the stereotypical, oh, he's a white guy, he can't be. Well, no, he can be. And he doesn't care about color. He just goes, man. He just goes. He is fearlessly confident in who he is and what he can be. Congratulations, Charlotte, on that. They got Cam Reddish. That's another guy I really liked it. See, he caught my eye at Duke, Cam Reddish, and he's just never quite lived up. And the Lakers kept trying to give him opportunity after opportunity. He never quite lived up. Mark Williams from Duke, I just don't know if he'll ever live up. I'm just not sure, because he's going to have so much pressure on him that he's never felt before. Grew up in Norfolk, son of Nigerian parents. Did go to Duke, but he was somebody else. He was some Mark Williams. Now he's going to have a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, and I'm just not sure he can live up to it. I think that's a big loss for the Lakers, to go from Anthony Davis to Mark Williams / Jackson Hayes. I'm sorry, I don't think it'll work. I do think, to conclude on the Lakers, that one reason LeBron is embracing this is that LeBron at this point is mostly about longevity stats, continuing to build that monument to himself statistically higher and higher, create records that will never be broken, never be approached. Okay, I got that. I don't think winning is a priority to him, and I think he was dreading the playoff run because too much of the focus was going to be back on him. If it's him and Anthony Davis, Anthony's more of a follower than a leader. It was LeBron's team. LeBron was still seen as the best player, even though it was clearly Anthony Davis. So when the playoffs came, I think LeBron was dreading what's happened in the last two playoffs. He's the focal point. He's the reason they lost. He's the guy who disappeared against Denver twice in the conference finals 2 years ago and the first round last year. He was the guy who disappeared in game one and started pouting in the fourth quarter. In game two, he missed a wide open free throw of a three-point shot to win the game. He flat out gagged it. Your fault, LeBron. And now he knows that the blame will probably be shifted more to Luka. Well, he's the new guy. He's the superstar. He's the younger LeBron. He's only 25, just turned 26 pretty soon, but he's still only 25 years of age. So focus, pressure, expectation goes to Luka. And LeBron will love that because, as I always say, the quote-unquote GOAT needs a scapegoat. It was harder to scapegoat Anthony Davis because clearly LeBron was the leading clutch client. He was the leader of the team, and ultimately people expected LeBron to close. And I kept saying, well, Austin Reeves is really the closer of this team. Well, now he's going to be he's the third wheel. He might even feel like a fourth wheel, given Luka's usage rate. But now LeBron can sit back and watch a little bit and kind of go along for the 1A ride with Luka. And if they fail, which they will in the playoffs, they'll have a hard time hanging in the playoff race now. It's going to take a while for Luka and LeBron to get any kind of vibe and chemistry, and I don't think it's going to work at all. I still see LeBron leaving in the summer. I just see him going somewhere. I don't know where, maybe with Steph. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a rocky ride for him home this year through the playoffs. They could be a first-round exit. I said last night it felt like Golden State, as I called them Olden State, with Jimmy Butler, 35, Steph going on, he's almost 37. Draymond he's 35 and he looks 45 to me. He plays 45. They're Olden State now. They're going to have a hard time. So I could see those two teams being first-round playoff exits depending on who they run into early. Anybody who runs into the Thunder is going to be gone like that, probably in 4. Which brings me to the Dallas Mavericks, my pick to play the Thunder in the conference finals. The Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison, their GM, got exactly what they needed and wanted. They wanted AD because they needed that guy. They needed a two-way player who is a flat-out rim protector. He's so much better than a Mark Williams plus Jackson Hayes that it's laughable. Nico said, I need him. I want him. Many nights you watch him, and him is he. He's him. Anthony Davis. There are nights I watch him play. I've seen him destroy Embiid. I've seen him destroy Joker. And I say, well, that looks like the most dominant player in the league to me. People have told me, I was talking to an agent the other day and said, well, think about who Nico could have had for Luka. He could have had Jason Tatum. Really? Would you take right now in Dallas Jason Tatum over Anthony Davis? I would not. I'm taking Anthony Davis. The agent said to me, well, could have had Ant-Man. Really? The guy who fades in the fourth quarter of all those playoff games? Guy who lost to Luka? Guy who needed oxygen during a playoff game? Went up the tunnel to get oxygen? That guy? You want him or you want Anthony Davis? I know star power and highlight dunks and all that. I'll give you that. I'm taking Anthony Davis over Jason Tatum or Anthony Edwards. Any day, any night. any playoff night. Nico got exactly what he wanted, and then he went out and got Caleb Martin. I'm a big fan. I just love the way he played for the Heat down the stretch, especially when they got to, obviously, to Denver in the finals. I like Caleb Martin. I like his guts. I like his playoff backbone. I like his demeanor. I like his body language. They went out and got him. So they're going to start Anthony Davis really at what he prefers, the 4. He's a power forward because they got Daniel Gafford, who's always very high in PER, as the center. Those two are kind of interchangeable. Derek Lively's fractured his ankle. I don't know. I'm hoping for their sake he comes back in time for the playoff run. Maybe back by April or May. I don't know. Could be a long shot. Kyrie Irving, clutch closer. Still at the backside of his prime, but still in his prime. Clay, backside of prime, still in prime. Still a 40% three-point shooter. P.J. Washington, big game, big time. Sort of what I was talking about, DeAndre Hunter going to Cleveland. That's P.J. Washington for Dallas. He's DeAndre Hunter. 3 and D, makes big shots, makes big defensive plays. I'll take that 5, but then I got Caleb Martin coming off the bench. I got Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench. I got Max Christie, and I've raved and raved. I watched a lot of Max Christie because I watch every LeBron game. That was a great get for them. He's only 21 years of age, but you want to talk about 3 and D at 6'5"? He became the best perimeter defender the Lakers had with Jared Vanderbilt hurt. But he will defend at a high level. He's the one who took Steph the other night up at Golden State and did a very good job on him, especially in the first half. You got Max Christie to contribute, and I won't be surprised if somehow he's in the starting lineup at some point. And they got Exum, and they got Jaden Hardy, who I loved during the finals last year, and Najee Marshall. That's a deep basketball team. The only missing piece here that I hope they would pull off right at the trade deadline today, they don't have a 1A point guard to spell Kyrie, to sort of share the duties, the point duties with Kyrie, play some with Kyrie. I was hoping, I'm a big Dennis Schroeder guy. I thought he was a great fit in Golden State, and they had to move him to get the Jimmy Butler thing done. And then for a while, it looked like he was in Utah. Now he's in Detroit. And now Chris Haynes is reporting on NBA television that Detroit is interested in keeping him. Okay, fine. But I was hoping Schroeder would wind up in Dallas because he would be perfect for this. Maybe there's a buyout market for somebody that I'm not thinking of at this moment, but that's the only small hole I can see in this roster in Dallas is they don't have somebody to take a little of the pressure off Kyrie. I mean, Exum and Jaden Hardy can handle the ball. Maybe they can just figure it out. Spencer can obviously handle the ball, but he's not pure point. I just like what this is made of. I loved what Nico did and capped it off with Caleb Martin. That is such a sweet move. They're a better basketball team, top to bottom right now, with better fit, better chemistry, better momentum. With Kyrie running the show, he's ready to run a show. He's always been backseat to LeBron, backseat. Then he's up in Brooklyn, and it's craziness with KD and James Harden. Are you the point guard or am I the point guard? And now it's his show, and I'm very anxious. Kyrie, you're on, pal. You're on. You got this. Kyrie's a very special player as I wind up my trade deadline special. Speaking of special, he's special. He is the man. He's grown up a lot since all his issues in Brooklyn. This is it. This is his time to shine. He couldn't shine in Luka's shadow. When they both got finally to the Celtics, Luka fell all apart. Luka can't shoot. You can't trust him. That's why I said before the year, I'm not picking Dallas in my preseason predictions because ultimately, big playoff series, Luka can't shoot. Ultimately, against Boston, even though he had a hot streak earlier and made the big shot against Gobert, to eliminate Minnesota at Minnesota. Huge three at the end of that game. He can be very clutch, but he's a poor shooter just like LeBron is by superstar standards. So Luka gets to the NBA Finals last year against Boston, goes 11 for 45 from three. That's 24%. Won't work, won't get there, won't get you over the hump against a team as good defensively as Boston, good offensively as Boston. And then from the free throw line, Luka, who's always been a liability by superstar standards from the free throw line. What do you do against Boston in the finals? It only lasted 5 games. He missed 12 free throws in 5 games. He went 17 of 29. That's 59%. That won't work, won't get it done. That's why Nico sat back and said, no, I've seen enough. We were very lucky to get that far. Then we ran into a team that was just way better than us because my superstar is not much of a shooter. He's a great scorer, just like LeBron. He's the equivalent of LeBron. Get in the lane and score the basketball. You've got the 2 best lane scorers in basketball. LeBron James is the greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen, and Luka is right there with him in a very different way because Luka doesn't freight train you. He doesn't beat you with quickness and explosion. He beats you with craftiness, herky-jerky, unrhythm, disrhythm, where you can't time him. You don't know, and all of a sudden he's up and under and making one up high off the glass. He gets it done a little different way, but once he gets in the lane, you can't stop him. He will score on anybody, any big, any great defender in the lane. So will LeBron James. So you got that going. They're both very good. They're great passers, both of them, but they both need the basketball. There's only one basketball, and there are only 5 people on the court at one time. I don't see how they're going to figure out how to make that fit. This will be Luka's team, Luka's Hollywood show going forward. But this year will be a bust for the Lakers. This year will be a boom for the Dallas Mavericks. I got them playing the Thunder, and I think it's going to be a hellacious great Western Conference Finals. In fact, I like Anthony Davis so much. I'll go Thunder in 7 now, after I've seen what happened at the trade deadline. Thunder in 7 in the Western Conference Finals over the Dallas Mavericks. Chet Holmgren, defensive difference maker, just came back. That, my friends, was the move of the day. And I conclude, Lakers got a little worse. Mavericks got better. I'll see you soon.